we mastered the sphere, we need to move on to boxes. So how to start a box is, let's put 2 dots on this page real quick. So we're going to put one here and one over here. So instead of having to use the 2-point perspective, let me teach you a little trick in order to do this. Put your finger in between those 2 dots and put a dot above it, and then one where it'd be kind of below it. And then we're going to do what's called a foreshortened square. And so it almost looks like a diamond when we get done with it. And so this just keeps us from having to use old school 2-point perspective, because this is for design work, not architecture work, so it doesn't have to be perfect. So now that we have that foreshortened square done, I'm kind of having to go in here and fix some things in it, because it wasn't perfect, but that's okay. This doesn't have to be perfect. We're just trying to learn how to draw some 3-dimensional shapes. Okay, so now let's come down from the middle. I'm going to draw a line straight down, and then we're going to draw one on the side. Now, to get the perspective on this, the middle line will be longer than the outside line. We're going to repeat that step over here on the side, and then we're going to start drawing these and connecting them. So we're going to connect these two together, and then turn the page and connect these two. Yeah, so now we have a 3-dimensional shape here. So let's just name this. So this is foreshortening, so let's go ahead and write that on our paper, just so that we remember that that's what it is. And then we also need to come in here and define our light source. Okay, so now we have our light source, and we have some definitions on here as far as foreshortening. Let me show you something else. So we're going to draw some lines off of this, and these are compass lines. Okay, so as a designer, this is telling us this is a southwest line, this is a northeast line. Then we're going to have a southeast. And then the other one up there would be northwest. So this just kind of keeps us all knowing where our lines need to be going. Okay, so I know that my lighting source is on that side, so this side over here will be shaded. Again, going in here lightly at first, so we want to lightly shade it, and then we're just going to add to it and darken it. You can do this by cross-hatching, so I did lines one direction, and now I'm adding lines the other way to kind of help darken it quicker. Okay, so that's kind of good enough. So going back and looking at this light source, we're going to see that our shading needs to be coming off this way. These little lines help me understand where that shading will be coming off the box. So I'm going to start over here, kind of go across and then back across. Again, lightly, and then we add in darker as we go. It's always darker closest to the bottom of the box. You want to really define that edge when it comes into this shadow. We're just going to keep refining this shading on this box a little bit more until I'm happy with it. Okay, so there's our box. Let's have some fun. Let's make a box that is open. So we're going to start the same way we did a minute ago. We're going to put our 2 dots. Use our finger to help us figure out the foreshortened square. And we're going to connect all these lines together. And we're going to keep on going on just like we did a minute ago. We're going to draw this line here in the middle. We're going to draw some shorter lines on the side. We're going to connect all those together to create that 3-dimensional box we started with earlier. Now we can start adding the pieces to make the box look like it's open. So we're going to start up here. And we know that the back of this box is going to come off at an angle. So we're going to start there. Go a little bit longer on this side. Anything that's further away from us is going to be shorter. Anything closer to us when it comes to the line will be longer. And so this helps us create that illusion that it is further away. So let's connect these. Okay, let's move on to another piece of the box. I'm going to come off this at an angle. And this one as well. This line that's closest to us will be longer than the one in the back. And then we will connect those. And let's erase this line out of here just so you can see it more three-dimensional. Okay, let's add the other corners real quick. So we're going to come off this side at an angle. And this one as well. This one needs to be a little bit longer, so I think I made that other line too long. So cut it across and take a piece off of that. Okay, last piece. Now this one we really got to think about because it comes off at an angle too, but we got to get that angle right. Okay. Again, this line up front is longer than the other one. And let's connect that across. Awesome. Now we need to create the inside of the box, which is easy. We just create a line in between the two of those to show the inside of the box. So now we have a 3D box that's open. Let's define that light source. And let's start adding our shading to this. So I know that down here we're going to have some shading. So let's go ahead and start putting that in based off of the light source. It's going to be darker there in that corner because you're going to have not only that the light source is missing, but that piece folded over is going to make it a little bit darker. Okay, go in here, like I said, always do it light, add to it. Again, where that piece is folding over, it's going to be a little bit darker and then lighten itself out. Okay. So again, where else do we need to put shading? Well, we need to put shading over here because our light source doesn't reach this. So let's start adding our shading in on this side. And this area is going to be darker because this has less light than the other side does. Now don't be afraid to move your paper around. Make it easier on yourself when it comes to shading things. Keep refining that shadow in there. Yeah, add a little more darkness in here. And same over here. Now we know there is light coming on the top of the box, so where we need to put the shading now is inside of the box. So we're going to come in here and start adding this in. Again, starting light, adding to it as we go. Really want to define this line that's in here. Okay, so now let's add on our shadow of the box. So you'll see that the light source comes from there. We can draw these little lines in here to help us. And then we can start adding our shading. Making sure that we define where that box and the ground land with each other. So there you have it. You have a 3D box that's open and one that is closed.